In this world, victory doesn't belong to the loudest, or the strongest, or even the most intelligent. It belongs to the one who can stay cold when everyone else starts to burn. People lose because they feel too much, speak too fast, and react too quickly. But the man who keeps his heart frozen, the man who shows nothing, the man who reveals nothing, he becomes unpredictable, untouchable, unbreakable. That's why the coldest man always wins. Because he's not playing the game emotionally, he's playing it strategically. And by the time his enemies realize it, it's already over. Cold minds see the truth long before emotional men do. People often ruin their own future because they react without thinking. They hear a whisper, and they panic. They feel pressure, and they break. They face betrayal, and they explode. Emotional men are easy to predict, and easy to control. But a cold mind is dangerous because it doesn't rush, it doesn't tremble, it doesn't bend. A cold mind watches, calculates, remains silent while everyone else exposes themselves. Most men never see the truth because their own impulses blind them. They mistake noise for danger. They mistake attention for respect. They mistake movement for progress. They run toward every fire, not knowing most of them burn for nothing. But when you stay cold, you don't chase flames. You watch where the smoke is coming from. You see motives before actions. You see weakness before the world notices it. You see betrayal forming long before the knife ever touches your back. Cold men don't guess. They observe. They wait for the moment when everyone else loses their composure, and that's when the truth finally shows its face. Because emotions blur the world, but calm detachment sharpens it. When you remove fear, anger, envy, pride, what remains is pure clarity. And clarity is power. A cold man never reacts first. He lets others reveal what they want, what they fear, what they hide. Their words expose them. Actions betray them. Their desperation becomes visible. And in the end, the cold man wins because he understands something. Emotional men never will. The truth doesn't scream, it whispers. And you can only hear it when your mind is still. That's why, in the world of strategy, business, war, or survival, the coldest mind always stands at the top. Not because he's the strongest, but because he sees everything long before anyone else does. Control your emotions, or your emotions will control your fate. Most people blame the world for their suffering, but the truth is simpler. They're prisoners of their own emotions. A man who cannot control what he feels is already defeated. He explodes when pushed, breaks when pressured, and collapses when life tightens its grip. And men like that never win, because the world knows exactly which buttons to press. Emotion is a leash. Fear pulls it tight. Anger jerks it hard. Doubt drags you down. And every time you react without thinking, someone else is holding the other end. But the man who controls his emotions, he becomes ungovernable, untouchable, unpredictable. He doesn't give people the satisfaction of seeing fear in their eyes. He doesn't let betrayal poison his judgment. He doesn't let success make him sloppy. His heart beats, but it does not interfere. His pulse rises, but it does not command, because emotions may scream, but they only have power if you listen. Control is not about becoming empty, it's about becoming selective. Choosing when to show anger, when to show strength, when to show nothing at all. That's power. Not loud power, but silent, internal power. The kind that makes your enemies hesitate because they can't read you. They can't predict you. They can't manipulate you. A controlled man is a dangerous man, because he plays the long game while everyone else is distracted by the short one. Emotional men fight battles. Controlled men win wars. And here's the truth: if you don't master your emotions, someone else will. A rival, a manipulator, a lover, a friend. Anyone who understands your weaknesses better than you do. That's why Thomas Shelby walks through every room with the same expression: calm, world unshaken, because he knows the world isn't controlled by the strongest but by the man who feels the storm and still decides the direction of the wind. If you can command yourself, then nothing and no one can command you. Your calm is your most dangerous weapon. Calm is not weakness. Calm is warfare. Most men believe power comes from volume, from shouting, threatening, showing their teeth like starving dogs. But the men who truly win, they never raise their voice. They never reveal panic. They never rush. Calm is the mask of absolute control. And when you wear it, the world bends around you. Because calm men make people nervous. They make people wonder what they know, what they're planning, what they're capable of. A loud man is easy to understand. A calm man is impossible to read. And that mystery is more frightening than rage could ever be. Calm disarms your enemies. It frustrates them. It exposes their desperation. When they scream, you stand still. When they threaten, you blink once. When they try to provoke you, you don't give them the reaction they need to feel powerful. You make them reveal themselves. You make them overplay their hand. You make them collapse under their own anger. That's the silent game of dominance. The one Thomas Shelby mastered. Calm also sharpens your decisions. A panicked mind swings wildly. A calm mind cuts cleanly. You see the weaknesses in others. You see the openings. You see the path forward, while everyone else is blinded by emotion, and calm is contagious. It spreads. It makes people follow you, trust you, fear you, all at the same time. Because when everything is falling apart, the man who stands still becomes the anchor, the center, the force everyone gravitates toward. Calm is the language of leadership, and it's also the language of danger. Because the man who doesn't flinch, it is the man who has already accepted the cost. The man who doesn't panic, it is the man who has already planned his next 3 moves. And the man who doesn't show emotion, it is the man who cannot be broken by anyone. Calm is not peace. Calm is preparation. Calm is power. The cold kind. The kind that builds empires in silence and destroys enemies without raising a hand. If you master calm, you never fight to win. You win before the fight even begins. Detach from the noise, and you rise above the world. There's a moment every powerful man discovers. A moment when he realizes the world is loud on purpose. People talk to fill the silence. They argue to feel important. They demand your attention because without it, they are nothing. But the man who wants to rise must detach. Not physically, mentally, emotionally, strategically. Detachment is the highest form of control, because it means you no longer dance to the rhythm of the world. You create your own. While others drown in noise, opinions, judgments, drama, you step back. You remove yourself from their chaos. You think clearly, while they react blindly. Thomas Shelby walks through a world on fire, yet his mind stays icy. Not because he's heartless, but because he refuses to let the noise of weaker men interrupt the clarity of his purpose. Detachment gives you distance. Distance gives you vision. Vision gives you power. When you detach, you stop taking things personally. You stop letting people's words shape your mood. You stop letting situations dictate your next move. You begin to see everything as it truly is, not through emotion, but through truth. You realize that most people speak without thinking. Most react without understanding. Most fight battles that don't matter. But you cut away the unnecessary. You remain focused on the mission. You keep your heart quiet and your mind sharp. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care selectively. It means you choose where your energy goes, because a man who gives his attention to everything loses control of everything. But a man who chooses carefully, he becomes untouchable. You detach not to escape the world, but to rise above it, to watch it from a place where the noise can't reach you. where emotion can't manipulate you, where weakness can't follow you. Detachment is the quiet throne of powerful men. It's how you stay steady in chaos. It's how you outlast your enemies. It's how you build a life where you decide what matters, who matters, and which battles are worth your breath. Detach, and the world will try to pull you back, but stay still long enough, and you'll realize you were never meant to walk among the noise. You were meant to rise above it. Conclusion in the end, remember this: the world doesn't reward the loud, the emotional, or the easily shaken. It rewards the man who stays still while everyone else trembles, the man who thinks while others panic, the man who rises above noise, fear, and chaos with a mind carved from steel. Silence, calm, detachment. These are not soft traits. They are weapons, sharper than knives, heavier than bullets, feared by anyone who cannot control themselves. Because when your mind is yours, truly yours, no enemy can break you, no betrayal can drown you, no circumstance can pull you under. Control your mind, and you control the world around you. That is the truth Thomas Shelby built his empire on. And if you learn to master that same cold, quiet discipline, you won't just survive the war. You'll walk out of it, owning the battlefield.